Welcome, everybody. It's your girlfriends, your favorites here on a Wednesday night. As usual, we got Beth and Laura in the house, and we are all ready to chat football. We're just going to put all of our woes aside, all of our crazy week, and all the nonsense that we deal with in our usual lives. And we're setting aside an hour for football and all the craziness that we love. Ladies, how are we doing?
Well, we just said we weren't going to talk about all the craziness. so that aside, I'm doing fine.
Awesome. So, Beth?
We got a new oven. That I would say that's the most exciting part. I got to cook using an oven today. I made a casserole. We had.
Damn.
I've been without an, for those of you listening, I've been without an oven for probably 6 months ish. I really just kind of put it off, and so it was delivered this morning. So I was super excited.
Oh my gosh! Welcome to domestic life again, making a casserole and everything.
I know. So that's Christmas cookie season has been saved.
That's amazing! Congratulations! Whoop whoop! All right. So I will say, I think Beth and I will start with what was in the chat that Beth started, and that was football is stupid.
Yes.
That is our theme for this week. I'm happy to start because I think our team played like absolute bleh. It was not good. It was I don't even really want to talk about it. We got beat by the Rams, which, by the way, when we get to rate the fit, I do want to give them their props because as a team, they freaking looked good. And I would say second right there with them was the Browns. Like their team was dressed so nice pregame fit. But Technics chick, you're right. The defense was not up to standard. Offense did okay, which was interesting. I'll talk about this a little bit more, but the quarterback ratings for both Matthew Stafford and Mac Jones was fantastic. Their QBR was like over 120 for both of them, which was fantastic because then when you go and talk about the oh my gosh, who'd they play? Let me look at my notes. Pittsburgh and the Chargers. Herbert and Rodgers, I think Rodgers' QBR was like 50 point something. And I think Herbert's was like right there at 90.5. So they didn't even either one of them went over 100. So you could have had a game like that. So offensively, yes, Technics chick, we were more exciting, although Juwan Jennings dropped the ball. He's now claiming that he's never going to drop the ball again. So I don't know. I would love to believe that. Hopeful. I even had my third and Juwan shirt on that day. I thought he was going to have a game. He in fact did not. Brian Robinson was a highlight. I loved that him and Christian McCaffrey kind of shared time rushing the ball, which was great. But overall, we took the L, and it was a very handed L. And so it was bound to happen. So we are 1-1 against the Rams this year so far. So that's all I've got to say about that. So Beth, let's roll on over to the Bills where more football is stupid.
I mean, right? I felt the same way. Listen, Buffalo, first of all, I need Josh Allen to get angry. I'm tired of this pity party, sad face, taking his time, just like get angry, get pissed off, yell at your coach, yell at your players. Somebody needs to light a fire under their ass. Like they are playing. I think Josh Allen said in press conference, they wanted it more. They wanted the win more. Why would they want the win more? Why on earth would Miami walk into a game against Buffalo with the records that we have and want it more? Like it's stupid. The football is stupid. The injuries are stupid. Our coaching is stupid. We need a wide receiver. They even, listen to me. We even said after the game, oh, we tried to get Waddle from Miami, but we couldn't make the deal happen.
Your face says it all, really.
almost makes it worse, right? Like, look, like we tried, but we just couldn't like pull it together. It sounds like the rest of the Bills team that week, right? Like just couldn't make the deal happen. So here we are. Like that's just salt in the wound, right? So there's that. There's too many injuries. I mean, I know Desi, you know the injury game. I know Laura, you know the injury game. But when you're already starting, like Buffalo doesn't have a very deep squad to start out with. We never have. And it's just they're piling up. We have no one to catch the ball. We have James Cook. And we have no defense left on the field. Like, it is ugly. We are a Jekyll and Hyde team, and it is a sad, sad state of affairs. Josh Allen deserves more as the MVP, and our fans deserve more.
Well,
I don't have anything to say about the actual game. That's just how
I can tell you that our group chat, this meme pops up of like a stick figure of someone with a stick literally poking at something, like do something. That pretty much captured exactly what you're talking about now. So we're gonna close that gloom up and go up to the Lions game. Laura, walk us through the action there.
Well, this week we had a good week. So my team was the only team of the three of us that had a positive result and a positive experience. But especially coming off that kind of heartbreaking loss against the Vikings last week, is that we showed up a different team this week. Last week was lackluster. Last week was something wasn't firing on the right cylinders. And the best part about it is the team made the adjustments. They figured out what it was they needed to do to make it better. And we walked into the stadium in Maryland and made it better. And it came down to, I mean, I mentioned last week that John Morton as the offensive play coordinator was not, it didn't feel like he was really kind of invigorating his squad. Like they just weren't doing much. And so everyone noticed immediately as the game started this week that Dan Campbell had a play card in his hand and his little reading glasses down on the end of his nose, calling the plays. And it made a huge difference. They were more alive. They were more excited. There was so much going on. We broke some records. Jahmyr Gibbs had a whole bunch of touchdowns, and he just became the seventh all-time touchdowns before the age of 24. And he still has time. He's got until March. So the rest of the season, he could actually get up there if he makes a few more touchdowns. And number one was Barry Sanders. So it would be pretty sweet if he could come in and do that. And it was just all around a good game. It was really cool to watch. So I was very glad that Lions teams of the past would have never made the right adjustments. We would have just gone back in. In fact, I think it was it Marinucci? Someone will correct me if it wasn't. Either way, we had two coaches at one point. One of them was, we just need to go in and do exactly what we just did. We just need to dig harder. We just need to do it. And clearly that didn't work. So instead, we actually did the thing you're supposed to do as a good team. And it was really fun to watch.
Well, that's awesome. I will tell you, before any of our games were played on Sunday morning, possibly the game of the week, we were all talking about it. The game in Germany, the Colts-Falcons game. I mean, when you see Daniel Jones with blood in his mouth, like it was wild. What a game. I had almost 50 points on my fantasy team just from that game alone. I had Jonathan is my running back in my fantasy league. And we talked about Jonathan Taylor last week being the front runner for the MVP of the NFL. And I tell you what, he is running away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. He holds the franchise record now for the most touchdowns ever for the Colts, and it has been phenomenal. I will tell you, the tight end Warren was clutch, especially in the ending drive, like the drives towards the end of the season or end of the game. And it was the first game to see Sauce Gardner in the Indianapolis Colts jersey. So it was fantastic. What a game. Yes, Technics chick. At least international folks were exposed to a good game for once. That was a hell of a game. I mean, that was an overtime game. Like, it was just so much magic happening in that game alone. Hats off to the Colts for finding a way to win, because I almost called them frauds halfway through
right.
And so, it's a mom joke. It's a mom joke, Technics chick. She says JT running away with the MVP is definitely a dad joke. I'll call it a mom joke. But, yes, did not. It was unintentional, but I will.
You'll take that. Take
there
it.
you go.
So there were a couple other games that were of interest. It was interesting to watch the Texans defense just chokehold the Jaguars. That was quite the game. The Pats beating the Bucks by 5. Travion Henderson, their running back, had 14 carries for 147 yards. He was averaging 10.5 yards. That's the average.
That game surprised me because, listen, I always say the Bucks are like that sleepy winner for me. Like, I never believe that they're as good as they are, but they are, right? And for Drake May to go in there and do what he did, I mean, good for them. Like, he didn't crumble. For a new quarterback to be playing that game, I'm really impressed.
Yeah, that was super impressive.
No, it was great. And I will say that I want to move right on in before we start talking about the game. Actually, I'll say, let's go back to the Chargers-Pittsburgh game, because one of my favorite pictures that was circulating through the internet is our memtastical moments for today. So here it is. The picture that went around the internet, the photo of Aaron Rodgers, which I honestly initially thought it was photoshopped until ESPN NFL posted it. And he looks like he's an 80-year-old man. I mean,
he does.
I had to imagine his eyes open and his mouth not looking like that. But this man, Aaron Rodgers, got sacked 3 times. Through 2 interceptions. One of the sacks was in the end zone. I forget which defender for the Chargers was coming at him. I think it might be this picture. And the ball popped out, and Rodgers turned around and fell on top of it, and it ended up being a safety for the Chargers. Mm-hmm. And so that's how you get this wonky 25-10 score. But it was an ugly game for Aaron Rodgers, and just watching him be old man miserable was crazy. I mean, like I said earlier, his QB rating was 50.6. This is a previous MVP play. I mean, this guy is phenomenal in his prime.
That being operative.
Correct. So, thoughts and feelings on that game at all?
I love it watching them lose. I mean, and here's I don't really have a problem with the Steelers. Gosh, Aaron Rodgers just puts a nasty taste in my mouth. And I hate to say that, but, it was fun to watch him get hit, because I can only imagine how much it hurt that night, how sore he was.
Right.
I mean, he was asking for it. And when he gets mad when one of his own players pats him on the back, right? So the fact that he was getting sacked, I can't imagine. I mean, isn't he also the one who stood back and watched the tush push one play a few games this season? I mean, contact is no longer in his wheelhouse for football. So,
yeah, I think he'd rather stick to Madden these days. The other game, which was interesting, was the Giants lost to the Bears by 4, and Dart was out. Russell Wilson, speaking of another quarterback that maybe has seen his time, Russ just looked horrible. He looked horrible.
So bad.
And following that game, Dayball, it's announced that Dayball is canned, which isn't that crazy? I just talked about that. Was it last week or the week before?
Right. Yeah.
I had a feeling. I was like, Dayball he's not looking too hot. And so sure enough, he's out. And there's lots of course, now everybody's talking about who could potentially fill the role as head coach there. And it is very clear that the Giants fans want no talks of Bill Belichick. None. I think it was like in the paper.
I mean,
Good.
I think that ship has sailed. I don't think that's happening.
I mean, I would agree. I don't think they want any part. I think they've had enough drama there. I would say one name that came across was Spags, the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, which I don't think anyone's able to pry that man from that team. I don't know. He's had so many potential offers over the years, and they've just, I mean, who's going to leave a Super Bowl caliber team? Yeah. But I mean, are they a Super Bowl caliber team this year?
Right. Yeah, I mean, they're not looking as hot.
They're playing just as well as Buffalo was playing, and we're not playing like one. So,
I mean, that's fair. But the good news here is, guys, it's the return of one of our most favorite football personalities. It has been announced that Jameis Winston will now be QB1 moving forward for the game this week against the Packers. It'll be at MetLife. I mean, this is Cinderella. I love this. We've got to have him mic'd up. I need a Jameis Winston mic'd up situation.
Yes. I just love how he shows up every season and becomes a storyline every season. And it just makes me so happy because that's all. He's just so happy. He knows he's not going to be an MVP. He knows he's a backup quarterback. He knows all these things, and he is just loving it every single minute of it.
And what a great teammate. Did you see him like when Russell's really struggling? Like he's got his arm around him. He's like, you can tell he's just trying to give him the pep talk. Like, I mean,
and Russell Wilson is sitting there like breaking out in hives, like, don't touch me. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Like, like there's no way he is okay with Jameis Winston being anywhere near him.
Right.
At all. So, well, let's go ahead. Any other thoughts on any games this weekend? Anything else you want to?
The only other thought I have is Monday Night Football. My goodness. That's probably why you didn't mention it, right? It was literally the most boring 4 hours on television ever.
And they're supposed to be good teams. Like that was supposed to be that was a Monday night game that I was like, this is going to be a game to watch. Oh no, that was horrible.
I was actually super surprised that it didn't end 0-3. Like it was that dull. And so we turned it off. We started watching something else. And then I looked at my phone to see what the score was. And I'm like, oh, they both scored a little more.
So I go to the gym in the morning on Tuesday. So I go in the morning. So I frequently will turn off a game at halftime, and it's always on the TV on ESPN or whatever station they have on in the gym. It's bad when none of the TVs were showing the game, and it was all the NBA playoff games, or the NBA. Like there was not one TV showing that game.
Well, I will just thank YouTube TV and ESPN for having problems with contracts. I didn't watch the game because I didn't have ESPN. And honestly, after looking at your guys' text, I was like, I'm not putting effort into finding that game. And the next morning, they replayed it. And I was like, okay, well, let me see. Because I was kind of salty at first. I'm like to your guys' point, I was like, these teams, this should be a great game. I'm going to miss a great game. And I was all upset. And then the next morning I put it on, and about 10 minutes in, I was like, no, this is not worth it. Like, I'm just going to turn it off.
Well, and it stayed that way until the fourth quarter. Like it was so dull.
Yeah, there was nothing happening. That was a big disappointment.
It was like watching a baseball game.
Ooh, shots fired.
baseball games aren't always the highest scoring, most active games out there. I think even fans can agree with that. And
the score looked like a baseball game score.
Absolutely.
Well,
or a soccer game even. Soccer match even.
let's scoot on over to who's in the news. All right. So it is with a heavy heart that we talk about Paul Tagliabue, who was the commissioner of the NFL from 89 to 2006. He has passed away. During his tenure as the NFL commissioner, he welcomed in some 4 new franchises and navigated the Saints in New Orleans following Hurricane Katrina. 4 franchises moved cities. There was a lot of things that happened during his tenure there. He was also, in addition to his NFL career, he served as the chairman of the board of directors of Georgetown University from 2009 to 2015. He's a native of New Jersey, from New Jersey or Jersey City. He is the 3rd of 4 sons, and he was of Italian descent. He was raised in the Heights neighborhood of Jersey City and attended St. Michael's High School in Union City, New Jersey, where he starred in basketball. I didn't know this. He actually was on scholarship to play basketball at Georgetown and was team captain, graduating in 62 as president of the senior class. So he went on to law school at New York University and graduated there with honors in 1965. And again, he started with the NFL as commissioner in 1989. The 4 teams that expanded during his tenure there was Charlotte and Jacksonville. Let's see. And then that was when the Browns had relocated to Baltimore to become the Ravens. The 32nd franchise was Houston Texans, who was added in 2002. So thanks, Paul Tagliabue, for all of your contributions to the NFL and the game that we love. And that is what's in the news.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. Something a little more exciting here. How about Rate the Fit, ladies? Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
All right. The NFL did not disappoint, as I alerted to earlier. 2 teams just showed out. I mean, the Browns and the Rams. I mean, if y'all didn't see Coach McVay for the Rams, I mean, that man knows how to dress. I mean, he looked great. And this is really hard for me to say as a 49er fan. So, but he did. I can't take it from him. But I will
precedes fandom sometimes.
I mean,
Right.
You got to give the props, right? You got to give the flowers. So here we go. Runner up this week was Zach Ertz, tight end for the Commanders. This is just a simple fit. He's got the brown pants on, the white are those Air Force Ones? He's got like this white, fresh, short sleeve collared shirt. He's got I don't know, I'm going to say the Ray-Bans or some kind of sunglasses on. He just looks smooth. What do you guys think of this fit, ladies? I mean, it's basic, right? I'm like,
I feel like he's going to have brunch. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Or tacos at like an outside. No, I don't. Who did this? Who chose that?
This was runner up. This was runner up. But also, this is, I guess, how you show up when you lose a game to the Lions. Oh.
I mean, it looks like a okay date night fit. Like, if you are meeting someone,
like a married date night fit.
Yes,
that's not like you're meeting somebody 1 or 2 dates in date night fit even.
Sure, that's if you're lucky that your husband is not wearing jeans and a t-shirt date night fit.
I mean,
you disagree? You like that more? You like that outfit more than we did?
Well, no, she's talking about comparing it to jeans and a t-shirt. I'm like, that can be a fresh look.
No, I'm saying it's better than that. It's a step up from that.
Oh, well, I mean, that was runner-up. Now, I do agree with the winner here. But if you go back and look at our Instagram and see the whole gambit of all the possibilities, I'm going to tell you guys, I really like Zay Flowers. Zay just had this amazing fit and he had this gorgeous smile on. And he just like the boy was ready to play. He was ready to go win some football. But this is our guy for number one. And I love this guy, Beth. I think we just talked about him last week when we were talking about cocktails and mocktails. It is no other than Myles Garrett. Another brown outfit. A lot of our players this week was sporting the brown. Like this is the color of the season. But man, something about the fabric of this suit. It is a brown button-up shirt with the top buttons unbuttoned. It's got the brown pants, dress pants, and he's got like this, the brown jacket that matches. It all matches. But for some reason, it just looks amazing. He's got like the Beats on, the headphones, the black headphones, got the black backpack, but he just looks like he is.
It fits in all the right places.
All the right places.
Right? Like there aren't very many people who could pull this outfit off, I don't think. And he actually was not my favorite. He always looks amazing. I feel he's a very good dresser. He's a very handsome man. He would be in my top 3 every week if there was an option. I really liked Isaiah Rodgers, the cornerback. I really liked number 1. He was mine, but I'm not mad at this pick. I'll never be mad at a Myles Garrett choice.
Sure. Agreed.
And my targeted ads have been telling me that this is the color of the season. So everything right now is apparently like this nice chocolate brown. So he is, based on apparently the algorithms, he is right on trend right now.
I love that you have fashion algorithms. I apparently don't go shopping because I get no fashion algorithms unless it's football outfits.
It's the weirdest thing. Like, I don't know why I get it. I don't know why. I have no idea why. It's because I'm a writer and I write for a lot of different things. So the algorithms are so confused. They're like, what do you so you train thoroughbred horses and you like color of the season? Like, no, I don't do any of those things, but I know about
them.
I search for them all the time.
Oh, well, always fun to talk about Rate the Fit. So if you're interested in putting your vote in, make sure you go over to our social media at either Facebook. We have a group page there called Girlfriends of Football, or go to our Instagram page where we always post every week. It's usually on Tuesday that we put the post up, and make sure you put your choice up there so we can make sure we acknowledge you, and maybe it gets to a different player, different week. So, every week is something new. So we're going to head on over to sports and medicine. Now, normally I talk about 49er players that are constantly injured, but I have positive news to report. There have been 2 days where there were no new injuries for the 49ers. And damn it, I feel like that is newsworthy. So I'm putting that out there.
I'll let you know when that news happens for the Bills.
Okay. Well, it is possible. If the 49ers can do it, then anybody can do it.
The same talk as you were talking about how there was so much chatter about training and what is and is not being done in the training room. Buffalo is having that same conversation right now as to how and why. So it's not just the Niners trainers that are getting thrown under the bus.
I have a question on my mind to ask you. And this is just, for those who don't know, my husband is also a physical therapist, and I've not asked him this question either. But, when it comes to injury prevention, do you think, and I just, I'm on a different side of medicine. You get sick medicine, you
Right.
need surgery medicine. But when you're talking about the athletic teams, For someone who's like injury prevention, that you're trying to optimize these people, these athletes, should that be the responsibility of a personal trainer or a kinesiologist, or should it be somebody like a physical therapist directly? Now, I know there's always a PT in the locker room, but this is a 53-man roster we're talking about here. Plus, that's not including, other folks. So what are your thoughts on that, just from your perspective as a physical therapist?
I do think that I wish we do have a good preventative role across the board in other areas of work, for injury prevention in workplace, for injury prevention in training, in movement, and all of that. Our job is to create better movement. We are movement specialists, right? That's our job. So we do rehab, but our rehab is focused on correcting movement problems to allow for optimal movement and decreased pain and things like that. So I do think that I would love to see more physical therapists on the prevention side in rehab, in the football world. I mean, I haven't thought of it from that standpoint, but I do agree. I think that might be a part that they do not take into as much consideration. We had our guest a few weeks ago. We talked about returning to sport, how quickly we can return to sport, and how much we talk about, optimizing recovery time and speeding up recovery time. And I think we need to realize that no matter how much we try and speed up these recovery, all these tools that we're using to speed up recovery, all these tools that we're using to speed up return to play, that sometimes it just comes down to good old relearning muscle movement, relearning motor patterns, and doing it properly. Our body needs rest. As we all know, Desi, I know as your mom, me as a mom, working and all of that stuff. Laura, you as a cat mom and, doing all the work that you're doing, like we're running all the time, right? And we all hit walls. I got laid up sick for a week in bed, right? Because I hit my wall. These football players are no different. They are running at 110% the entire football season. And this is their rest, because they do all their training and strengthening and conditioning and all of that through the summer and during the off season. The football season is their rest time. This is when they just go out and play and recover. Right. So for us to think that they're not going to get injured and that they don't have a chance to truly give their bodies that rest that they need. And so I think we need to really look at recovery differently. As a whole for these players.
So interestingly, when we talked to Dr. Ree, that's who you were talking about, the guest that we had a couple of weeks ago. Dr. Ree was a chiropractor that worked with the Tampa Bay Bucks. And, one thing that was interesting to me is they really don't have a lot of physical therapists in the locker rooms. It's like one, maybe two. And it sounded like it was an athletic trainer that really oversees the whole situation, which is interesting to me. As far as I recall, an athletic trainer does not have the years training.
Oh, absolutely not. No. So a lot of athletic trainers actually go back to school to become physical therapists, or you get your athletic training degree
prior to
as your entry to physical therapy school. I love athletic trainers. They have a lot of knowledge. They do lots of continuing ed. I'm not speaking poorly of them. I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. That's a bachelor's level degree. Physical therapists now all have a doctorate, master's or doctorate. There's lots of training that goes involved. There's lots of continuing education that you have to do. There's lots of hands-on time. So there's definitely, it's like comparing me to a surgeon, right? Like we don't have the same
training experience. Yeah.
So I do think it would be good if they had a little bit more, I don't know, but I think maybe that's it. Maybe they don't want to hear what we have to say, right?
Well, I'm going to say it, damn it. I mean, this is how you challenge to get better. And I think that, we're seeing more and more injuries. And I think part of that could be looking at how you run your program, right? I mean, this is just business. It doesn't matter if it's healthcare business or, financial business or accounting business or whatever. You have to look at your processes and say, is this working? And to some degree, when we were talking with Dr. Ree, something that I thought about was I don't know that he said it on the show, but he mentioned that, prior to game, right before the games, he's got people lined up and he's got this little tiny space where he's supposed to do these adjustments on all these players right before they go out on the field. He's one man. Like, that just does not seem very time efficient, right? So in my mind, you've got all these athletes. They all have different bodies that need different things, right? And can do different levels of flexibility, different levels of strength, their positions are different. And I would think that as an owner, maybe you look at that and say, okay, I'm going to have a physical therapist that's overlooking each position, right? So you have one PT that's overseeing all your running backs, one person that's overseeing all of your DBs, one person overseeing all of your offensive line. Like, I think if you've got coaches for each of that, it could easily be separated. Now, I know that means more money. And maybe in these contracts that, I don't look at and things behind the scenes, I'm just kind of just offering a suggestion. Maybe that's on the responsibility of the players. And maybe that's part of why they get paid so much, is they're, expected to put money towards their health care in that way. And have
their body is their paycheck, and they need to care for their body.
Right.
And everybody has different philosophies, right? So what Matthew Stafford was doing preseason this year may not be the same. The team wasn't paying for that. He was paying for all of those pieces, I'm sure, to get him to where he needs to be. And maybe there's another player who doesn't believe in the red light therapy and wants to do this instead, so I can see where there's some of those pieces that I could see them maybe saying, yes, this is your responsibility to take care of your body. Because the athletic trainers and stuff are there more to diagnose. Like, they're going to do a slap test. They're going to do different on-field assessments or off-field assessments quickly to make a determination if they think they tore his ACL or they think they did that. They're not there to. I don't think they're making the training. I would love to know who's actually making their training programs. Right?
I feel like that's the strength and conditioning.
So there's a strength and conditioning coach.
And I think there's also a person that's an injury prevention. And that's what I'm trying to discern, is who's responsible for that side of it. Should it be, a PT overlooking that and saying, hey, if I'm a PT who's looking at all the offensive linemen and they're chronically having back issues, I could then, communicate with the strength and conditioning coach.
Implement more of a core-based approach, or more of a.
Correct.
How are they performing X, Y, or Z exercise? Because whatever they're doing is wrong. We need to back off on weights and focus on X. Yeah, it's a lot of men with a lot of egos would be my guess.
So I guess my final question, and this is something that just, my son works with a trainer who is phenomenal at what he does. And I've looked around, there's a lot of, people I've seen on the internet and stuff that are selling these programs that are just either they're trainers, personal trainers, or their background, they're kinesiologists, they're maybe even just someone who was in the military that just worked out, and they sell these programs that will help, heal your back pain, or, all of the, I'm always intrigued because, being in medicine, there's so much medical legal issues that you have to be very cautious about what you do, what you say. So where is the line between a personal trainer or a kines or somebody like that can essentially treat back pain, is kind of what the program may say, versus a physical therapist? Like, where is that a blurred line? Like, I think, so I've been a trainer, right? I've NASM certified, and I was always taught, and this was decades ago, but I was always taught you don't put hands on a client, because that's where the lines get blurred. That's
Right.
for a physical therapist. So can you speak to that?
I mean, I would agree, because I also have my personal trainer certification in addition to my physical therapy degree. And I would say I do believe that that's probably the biggest differentiation, outside of like you said, kind of that knowledge base where one ends and the next goes. The trainers are very good at analyzing a body movement and prescribing exercises in a sequence to help build strength or build endurance or build muscle. When you start talking about movement dysfunction, I think that's where physical therapists come in. So how do we address that pain and change the movement function for muscle imbalance to provide that skill? So if you are an athlete or someone like that, you want somebody who has both of those backgrounds, right? You want somebody who understands, we both understand the kinesiology. We both understand exercise prescription. However, a physical therapist, like you said, we tend to be more hands-on. Like I am all over my patients. I am touching muscles. I'm cueing muscles. I am repositioning them mid-movement. We are holding positions in different places. We are backtracking to really basic exercises, really basic movements to create that underlying stability prior to moving to exercises. So that's kind of where I say, I feel like sometimes ego gets in the way, right? Trainers and athletes are programmed to do more, go bigger, be stronger, X, Y, and Z, right? Physical therapists are the people who tend to pull you back and be like, that's awesome. But without building block A and B, your tower is going to fall. So I do think that it's important to have some of that insight from a physical therapist to allow that movement. There's a lot of great trainers who have a lot of great knowledge, and many have more knowledge than me in the ortho world because I work more neuro. So I'm not discounting any of it, but I do feel like there's a need for a little bit more medical insight sometimes on these guys.
Yeah, I would say partnership.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because there's
this whole big thing about chiropractors versus PTs and why one likes PTs don't like chiropractors and why we don't like them and things like that. And it's not so much that we don't like them. They have a place in the medical field, just like the rest of us. It's just knowing your role and how to best use that to make the person the best person they can be and the healthiest they can be.
Yeah, very good. All right. So that was a totally unplanned segment, but
it's really important, I think, that we have these conversations, and that hopefully the football industry will also have these conversations, because, I've seen a lot of people mentioning things like, back in my day, football, it was just, it was cutthroat and it was this and that. Well, right. But people are bigger, faster, stronger now, and the injuries are worse. And all of these things, like, nobody's just being, kind of a wuss by not, by wearing a guardian cap or whatever. It's not that you're weak. It's that the injuries now have so much more potential to be significant. And we've seen, like, with head injuries and things like that, the changes that the NFL is putting in, it is making a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to switch gears. Another unfortunate story in the NFL this past week was the passing of Marshawn Kneeland, who was a defensive end with the Dallas Cowboys. Before I get into the story itself, Marshawn Kneeland was 24 years old when he passed away. He was born in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and went to college at Western Michigan University.
Which is where I went.
Oh, small world. He went on to be a Dallas Cowboy, drafted by them 2 years ago. And he had just scored his first touchdown the week before the unfortunate news broke that he was no longer with us. So allegedly what happened, the story is that he was driving and there was, let me get this right, with locating a vehicle. So he had evaded troopers and there was kind of a pursuit that happened because of some potential situation when he was driving. They tried to pull him over. I'm still not clear what actually happened.
I believe it was he had spoken about suicidal thoughts and had discussed it with his girlfriend and some family members, and they had called the police as a well visit. So they went to find him, and that's how the pursuit occurred. It was due to a well visit check because family was concerned about his safety.
Okay, so he ended up crashing the car. He got out, fled the scene on foot, and then was later found gunshot wound to the head. And it's tragic. His agent, John Persley, had a beautiful message that he posted. He was shattered to confirm that his client and dearest friend, Marshawn Nealon, passed away. Watched him fight his way from a hopeful kid at Western Michigan with a dream to being a respected professional for the Dallas Cowboys. Marshawn poured his heart into every snap, every practice, and every moment on the field. To lose someone with this talent, spirit, and goodness is a pain I can hardly put into words. My heart aches for his family, his teammates, and everyone who loved him, and I hope they feel the support of the entire football community during this unimaginable time. So this is, something that we see not just in the NFL world, but all around. Beth, I think you have some statistics to share.
Yeah, I think something that we need to take into consideration is that this is not an isolated incident. Suicide and mental health is a huge issue in our country. It's a huge concern for all people, but in the Black population, particularly African American men. In one of the stats that we saw is that in 2023, suicide was the third leading cause of death among young Black and African American men. It is only behind homicide and unintentional injuries. So it's a huge, huge issue for our population and males in general. And it's something that is it is stigmatized. Health and mental health is something that people do not want to talk about, do not think about, and they do not want to express because, like we said earlier, in another setting, we're talking about how, you don't talk about these things. You don't want to admit. Black adults have reported major depressive episodes. Sorry. I had this written and then I lost it. They look for help. Where is it? I'm sorry.
There was
topic. They look for help significantly less. I don't have the stat written here. They look for help significantly less than their white counterparts, which makes the stats that much more scary that they are that high up in the death toll. It says that also only 9% of Black males look for prescription treatment or medication for mental health compared to 17% of the total U.S. population. So even if they do admit that they have depression episodes, they do not reach out for help and do not use medication to use that as a way to cope or a way to help. Part of it is access, part of it is financial, part of it is just a social construct. So please do not become a statistic. Reach out to others, talk to others. And I think we do have some resources as well and ways to talk to friends or family if they do tell us that they are upset or have concerns.
Yeah. So the overall statistical rate is last year there was 48,821 suicide deaths, which is around the same amount the year previous to that. The age-adjusted suicide rate is estimated to be approximately 14 per 100,000, which has been kind of a stable, but still it's not great over the years. There is, if you go on to, and let me actually bring up the image, a couple of things I want you guys to be aware of. Help is available. You can call or text 988. There is an organization called helpguide.org, and they have some great information talking about the warning signs of suicide. On there, some signs that you may see would be talking about suicide. Things like, I wish I hadn't been born. If I see you again, I'd be better off dead. Seeking out lethal means, so seeking access to guns, pills, knives, or other objects that could be used in suicide attempt. Preoccupation with death, no hope for the future, self-loathing or self-hatred. Getting affairs in order, saying goodbye. There's unusual or unexpected visits or calls to family and friends, withdrawing from others, self-destructive behavior, and a sudden sense of calm. There's some great tips up here, ways to start a conversation with someone that you're concerned about, questions that you can ask, and more importantly, things that you may not want to do or say to someone who you believe is having suicidal thoughts. Make sure that you have the number to contact. Make sure you can get somebody help, and that's really what's most important. And if there's something that's of urgency, you definitely want to make sure that you contact the number that we have up here, 988. You can text that number or call the 888 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 800-784-2433. So there are resources out there. Again, helpguide.org is one spot you may want to go to if you or someone you know is having thoughts that will help guide you to get them to the help that they need, or yourself to the help that you need. But we got to start talking about this more. We got to stop not letting this be a stigma. We've got to teach our men that they are worthy. We've got to teach them good self-talk, encourage them to seek counseling. It is almost four times more likely for a male to commit suicide than a female. So we've got to start making this something that men feel comfortable talking about. And as women, we can support them.
I want to also just interject. As a mom, I have been privy to suicidal talk with people as young as 9 years old. So it's not an adult issue. It's everywhere, guys. Mm-hmm. So talk to your children about it. Let them know what the resources are. Let them know that you love them. Let them know that they can come to you, and let them know if their friends are worried that they need to find an adult. I have lost friends, children, and I have other children that I know that have attempted. So it's a big deal, and it's a big deal starting way younger than it should. So pay attention. Reach out.
And reach out to those resources that we've provided in the show today.
Absolutely. And make sure that, you're talking about it, even just, day-to-day struggles with mental health. It's better that we talk about it than we hide it, because that's part of what causes this epidemic of, suicide in our country, is but because we're not coded to talk about it. We think that's shameful. It's something we have to hide, but it's far better to have those discussions, just casual discussions about like, this is not abnormal. There's nothing wrong with me because I feel this way, or I have to take medication, or any of these things. It's just, we have to normalize it and make it something that we're all comfortable talking about.
100%. 100%. So again, reach out to those resources that we provided in the show today and make sure that you're taking care of yourself, guys. All right. So we're moving on to the next segment, Cocktails and Mocktails.
Yes!
All right, ladies.
Yes.
What do we got here this week?
This week, in honor of Detroit's win over Washington, it is the Motor City Manhattan. It's a standard Manhattan, good, solid cocktail, been around a long time. A standard one is rye whiskey, vermouth, and bitters. The Detroit Motor City Manhattan has, instead of regular bitters, it has orange bitters, and Grass Widow Bourbon is what the cocktail calls for, and that's because it's a long-standing Detroit-born bourbon. So it's very good. It's a great. If you like Manhattans, you will love this drink. It's very good. It's very smooth, very nice. The mocktail. It's also very tasty. It's a little sweet for my taste. The cranberry juice does help cut it because it is a little tart, but the maraschino cherry juice and the orange juice for me just takes it a little too sweet. But if you like a sweet cocktail, it's very good. What I will also say is that it calls for the maraschino cherry juice and the maraschino cherries. So don't be tossing all of that maraschino cherry cocktail when you are making all your drinks, because it comes in handy for different cocktails.
Right. And I do love Manhattans, so I was very excited to make this one.
I know. I had picked this drink before I knew Laura's drinking preferences, and when she came to visit during preseason, I made these, and she was like, "These are really good." I said, "I'm so glad." And our pregame cocktail, I felt like I had a win. I was able to host and have the correct cocktail for the correct people.
Great. And now it's the Motor City Manhattan, which Laura, I'm sure, loves and appreciates even more. So,
of course.
All right. Well, here we go. Our final segment, our picks for week 11. Guys, it's week 11. What? 2 more months left and we're on to postseason. So, Laura, walk us through what we picked for the hot mess of week 11.
Yeah, you can see that. Yeah. I mean, you can see this hot mess right here. So we start out Thursday, tomorrow night, Jets and Patriots.
I can't do it. That's all it is.
I understand, and you can see some of my picks are the same for the same reasons. So, I hope the Jets have a good game. To be fair, I prefer that they win, but I was just
I don't see it happening. That's just my reasoning.
Right. And then we have, then on Sunday, we've got Commanders Dolphins. Desi, you pick the Dolphins over the Commanders.
Yeah, the Commanders are a hot mess right now. I don't see that they're going to. I mean, so are the Dolphins. I kind of went back and forth on this, just like last week when I sent you my picks and then I was like, wait, no. And I think the 2 games that I switched my picks on, I won one of them and I lost the other one. So it was like, yeah.
Well, we have to pick, right?
Yeah.
Then we've got Panthers Falcons. It's a divisional matchup like last week for the NFC South. I picked the Panthers. You all picked the Falcons. Honestly, I could see either of them. I mean, the Panthers are actually doing pretty well. So,
and it all depends on what Falcons show up.
Right.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah, their defense is kind of sneaky though. So we'll see.
Buccaneers, Bills. Of course, we all picked the Bills. We would like to see them win this one.
God, I hope so. I don't have a great feeling about it, but I sure hope so.
I'm still peak petty over the, Fred Warner injury at the Bucs. So whatever.
Well, thank you. Be petty with me.
Texans, Titans. This was a tough one for me, but we all picked the Texans.
I'm actually surprised because I did waffle on that game.
I'm mad at myself for, you guys know that I love D'Amico and I try to pick the Texans every chance I can, but there for a while I was kind of going off the bandwagon, and then they surged and they beat the 49ers, and then they started kind of getting a little hot, and I was like, okay, let me get back on my Texans bandwagon. So there I am.
All right. A good reason as any. Then we've got the Bears Vikings, which was a really hard one for me. It is a divisional matchup that I am not involved in. So I had to pick the team that would implicate, would have the best implications for the Lions, I should say.
You put a lot of thought into this.
I did.
Way more than I do.
Well, I don't want either of them to win, but that's not an option. But right now, the Bears actually, yeah. So I don't know. Actually, I don't care. I hope they both lose.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing that the Bears can pull that out. But Desi, you may pull the upset.
But that's when that happens, right? It's the divisionals that's when it happens. Like when you're within your own division, that's when shit goes left. Ooh, excuse my language.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I mean, I just witnessed it last week, so who knows, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
No one thought the Miami Dolphins were going to beat you guys, but now I'm trying to learn from my lessons here.
No one. All right, Packers Giants. I obviously picked the Giants, even though I'm not sure that they can, but I don't want the Packers to win, so that's where I was with that. Desi, you picked the Packers.
Yeah, Dayball's out. I mean, Jackson Dart's out with a concussion. You got Jameis. I mean, maybe, but
I don't know. They got Jameis.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know that
we trust.
I don't know that the odds are in their favor, but I still don't. I could never, ever put my little bubble by the Packers.
Yeah.
Unless they're playing even if they're playing the Bears or the Vikings, I put the bubble by the Bears or the Vikings. So definitely just never the Packers. All right, Bengals, Steelers. Beth, you pick Bengals. We pick Steelers.
Listen. Aaron Rodgers is old, and the Bengals are excited that Joe Burrow's coming back.
Right.
Bro, we didn't even talk about that.
Win because the more they win, the better chance Joe Burrow has to give their team. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is still sore.
From his 3 sacks.
Right? Just watch. This is what's going to take me over the edge this week. Well, that game. I'm very confident in that pick.
Listen, you want to see a fan base crash out? Let Joe Burrow come back and watch the 49ers totally crash out if Purdy's not back by then.
Yes. Absolutely.
Purdy, Burrow done had a surgery for turf toe and is back before Brock Purdy's non-surgical turf toe. I would crash out. The whole fan base will crash out.
Yeah, everybody would be like, "Where's his surgery? Why couldn't he be bionic foot?" For sure. All right, but then that does bring us to the 49ers Cardinals, and we all pick the 49ers. Of course, we all.
Yeah, we've got Pretty Ricky might be back. I mean, Slick Rick could be back. So it doesn't help us defensively, but there's some people getting healthier. We got some. It could be. I'm trying to have some optimism. We're gonna roll with that.
Sure. Chiefs and Broncos. We all picked the Broncos. That seems fair.
I'd like to pick none of them.
Well, sure.
I will always pick against the Chiefs.
Yeah, me too. Most of the time, I will try to pick against the Chiefs. Ravens, Browns. To our discussion earlier about Tagliabue, Ravens, Browns are the Browns playing the Browns.
Good call.
But
also you realize the tickets for this game is like $11. It is more expensive to buy a beer and a hot dog in the stadium than it is to get into the stadium.
Yeah. I remember buying Lions tickets for that when they were that bad. So, and the Ravens, they've totally, bought the farm really. So
listen, one of our most favorite fans out there is my husband. He listens to our podcast religiously every week. He is a Ravens fan. I don't want to burst his bubble. This is their opportunity to make it to 500. He's told me that multiple times this week.
All right, I love that you don't want to burst his bubble, but you picked the Browns.
I was
Right?
going to say that, but thanks for saying that for me. There you go. Sorry, Boo. You know Beth's your favorite anyway, so anywho.
All right, and then Sunday Night Football. Obviously, I'm excited. Lions, Eagles. Desi, you don't have faith in my kitty cats.
Listen, I don't even know what's happening anymore. I just hurry up and circle a pick, and I try not to think too much about it, because then I end up thinking too much about it, and then it just goes, my brain freezes. So I picked the Eagles. They're on a hell of a run right now. I don't know. Sometimes they're really, really good, and then sometimes they get smacked in the face.
Did you see them Monday night?
No, she didn't. That was
I
part of the
didn't.
problem.
I did not, in fact.
Did you look at the score before you made your picks?
Yes. And so, but I don't know. Whatever.
Well,
Eagles.
right.
Oh,
We'll
I
see.
know why. I know why. Because they're playing in Philly. It's really hard for teams to come into Philly. And that was my reasoning there. Home game. Home team.
That is a fair point. Lions are really good on the road for the most part. So, I don't know. I think we have a good shot, especially coming off of last week's excitement and the new shakeup and the things that are going right for us. So I think we have a chance, and especially if the Eagles from Monday night show up. Because
can they stop the 5 tush pushes that are coming to them?
Did you know that one of the reasons the tush push rule was not eliminated was the Lions were one of the holdout teams that did not vote for eliminating the tush push. So,
and they're going to suffer that consequence.
But they do it. I mean, they don't do the tush push, but they do. Like in last week's game, we had when Gibbs was running into the end zone, and he might not have made it, and so like 4 of our players came and helped push him in. So, we're not against pushing. So, all right. And then
I'm going to keep that. I'm going to play that back. I'm going to make that
We're not against pushing.
I know. That's a memeable or whatever for voices.
Well, it might be. Well, right. And depending on how the game goes next week, even more memeable. Yeah. And then we've got Monday Night Football, Cowboys, Raiders. We all picked the Cowboys.
God, that hurt so bad.
It did.
I wish the Raiders were better.
Yeah.
For this pick only. Yeah. God, that hurt.
If I could just vote for Max Crosby, I would have rather just picked.
just Max Crosby.
Just him.
Well, I figured the Cowboys might be playing for kind of a higher purpose. I mean, they're going to be wearing Marshawn's number on their helmet. And, obviously the team had a huge shakeup this week and so they've got something to prove. And I think that they could play with some heart, even though I don't love the Cowboys.
Yeah. None of us love the Cowboys, but here we are all picking.
Go Max Crosby.
So picking Max Crosby. Technics Chick, we're so happy to have you back. Thanks for joining us tonight. We missed you. And come back next Wednesday. Guys, thanks for joining us tonight. We had some tough topics, lots of fun, and we're coming back next week with more games to review, more cocktails and mocktails to share, and always, always laughter. So enjoy the games this week. Be safe and happy football.
Go Bills.